Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All right, assalamu alaikum, guys. So today's session will be all hands-on. I'm not going to be running any slides today, and tomorrow as well. Tomorrow there will be a little bit of theory and a little bit of slides, but like today, tomorrow we're going to be doing all hands-on work. Whatever we're going to see here, I have already created those chunks for on the YouTube. So you will receive an email from me that contains one video for AWS keys, another video for AWS security groups, and the one for AWS Linux instance launch, and the one for Windows instance launch. With that, so down the road, if you need any help, that let's say you need specific area that you are looking for. So instead of going through the entire video, you will or you will just go click on it and just go through it, and it will have the entire the hands-on exercise on it. And hopefully, inshallah, I will have more videos coming in, mainly on on this AWS area. So as I proceed along, and as we proceed along with these classes, videos will be uploaded prior to that or after that, but we'll just make sure that they are there before this the classes end. All righty. So first one is AWS keys. So last time we had a technical glitch. So previously AWS used to offer only one type of keys. That was the .pem file, and now they have introduced .ppk, and they recently introduced it. The .ppk as well. So previously, how it used to work is we used to create the PEM file and then get that converted through the PuTTyGen tool, and through the PuTTyGen tool, we convert that PEM file into PPK file. So what is the difference here? Majority of us are Windows users. So this is the information which I'm currently giving is applicable to Windows only, and for Mac guys, I'll tell you in a bit. So what happens is on the Windows area, the Linux operating system or the Linux instance is not accessible through the .pem file. So we have to convert that to .ppk to access it through one of another tool which we downloaded. The tool is called PuTTY. Okay, so PuTTY is the tool that is used to access Linux operating system. And to access the Windows operating system, we use another tool which is called RDP, or Remote Desktop Protocol, or Microsoft call it MSTSC, or you can search for remote in your Windows laptop. So it comes by default. So with that tool, we access our Windows machines or Windows instances. Windows is only accessible through .pem, and the only access method that we require for Windows is to get the administrator password. And for Linux, Amazon actually provides you not directly the root access, but they provide you, they create one user for you. The user is called EC2-user, and we'll come and see more in details. And then afterwards, we get that get the access to it. All right, so what happens is, let's say this is my Linux instance, and let's say this is my Windows instance, which is created in the cloud, or let's say I have this virtual machine in my VMware infrastructure, or I have this virtual machine in my Windows laptop, or it is sitting somewhere, let's say this is Linux and this is Windows. So how to access them? On your laptops, you power up your laptop, you have the login prompt, you provide the password or the PIN or face recognition or whatever the authentication method is. And through that, you access into the operating system. So you have the access to the entire operating system, whatever the tools you have running, whatever the software you have, or the application you have, you access that, through logging in through your, through your laptop, or, through the keyboard. But what about the machines or the servers that are sitting somewhere outside, somewhere not in your closer reach, somewhere where you cannot plug in your keyboard and mouse? How do you access them? They are running, they have all the capacity, they have all the tool, all the application and everything is running. But how do we make sure that we are able to connect to them? So the connection method is, for the Linux machines, there is a tool which is called PuTTY. This is the tool. And this is a command line tool. Linux is a command line tool, or command line operating system, although it has graphical interface, but people, they do not, prefer to connect the GUI interface, or the graphical user interface. So Linux is mainly accessed, and mainly all the work is done through the command line. And the tool through which we connect to the remote Linux server is through the PuTTY. So Linux, we use this PuTTY tool. How do we access a Windows server which is running somewhere outside, for which we do not have a physical access? How do we access it? There's a tool called, either you search for RDP, Remote Desktop Connection, or RDC. So through this tool, we connect to our Windows machines or Windows servers. What do we need for that? We need administrator password. So administrator in Windows is the user account that has access to the entire operating system. You can do whatever you want. The similar role in Linux is called root. So Linux has a root user and Windows has an administrator user. Normally, when you are working in a corporate environment, you do not log into any of your server or any of your machines through the administrator account, but you log in with your named account. Let's say my organization gave me like Faisal.Abbas. I logged in with that, and through that, I log into other server, or I may have, that elevated rights given to me or somewhat, whatever. So going back again, so Windows, the top level access is given to administrator. In Linux, the top level access is given to root. In Linux world, the root account is called next to God. It has access to everything. So it is next to God. Similar thing, administrator is next to God in Windows. All right, so these two tools are used to access our infrastructure or our servers. Now, RDP, or Remote Desktop Connection, or RDC, this comes by default in your Windows laptops. But this PuTTY does not come default in the Windows laptops. That's why we had to download and configure this tool. That is the reason why in my first mail, I asked you guys to download PuTTY and also PuTTYGen. I'm going to come to PuTTYGen in a bit. So these are the two tools that are required. Now I'm going to pause here for Windows guys. I'm going to come to Mac guys. Mac guys, you do not need to install Remote Desktop. It comes by default in your Mac. You do not need to install PuTTY. It comes by default in your Mac machines, either Mac laptop or Mac desktop or whatever. To access PuTTY-like capability in Mac, so on the top right where you have the magnifying glass or the search bar, click on the search, type terminal. That terminal is a black window that pops up. That is the terminal window that you require to access your Linux instance. For Windows, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think for Windows, the tool is called the same, I think, Remote Desktop or something like that, through which you access your Windows laptop, or sorry, Windows remote servers. I'm going to pause here for a second. Any question or any concern so far? Okay. Although I am creating all these videos, keeping in mind the Linux guys, Windows laptop people, because we have a bigger population for Windows. I am working with my close connections here in Chicago to get hold on to a Mac machine, and I'm gonna create some videos for for the Mac guys that are required for how to create the Linux instance or the Windows instance using the Mac. So once I get hold on to that, I'll create the video and upload to my channel. Okay. All right. So I am assuming that nobody, like everybody is clear on this. Yes, there is no license for RDP. Yes, we will not spin up any Mac servers. There are no Mac OS available in AWS or any of the cloud provider. Mac is a very close contained operating system, very close to near and dear to Apple's heart, and they don't want it to pass it on to us. Okay. All right. So
I just checked on Mac. We have to download the app called Remote Desktop to use it on the Mac. It doesn't come by default.
Okay, but it's not. But I guess you do not download like from third party. I think that is available to
on the Mac Store. Yeah, App Store.
Yeah, Mac's App Store. Yeah, and you do not have to pay for it, if I'm not mistaken.
So I have shared an email with you, Faisal bhai, yesterday. My name is Nasser. So I was trying to generate the key using PuTTyGen. So again, in MacBook, there is no privilege for the PuTTyGen. So yes. I mean, I'm just curious again, what's the other way in MacBook so we can generate the key to PPK?
Yes. So what? Just watch and see. You do not need PuTTyGen. You do not need to install, download, or anything similar on your Mac machines. And that was although I was clear on my first email, but I think I should have highlighted for the Mac guys. It is at the bottom of the email. But anyways, so Mac, you do not need to install PuTTyGen or PuTTyTool. You guys have everything by default there. Your terminal has the capability to perform all the work for you. Okay, so you do not need to install anything. Hassan just mentioned about the remote desktop that you need to download from Mac App Store.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So going back and come on, there it is. All right. So first, we're gonna create AWS keys. Okay. So key pairs we're gonna be creating. So I'm gonna log into the console. All right, come on, console, where are you? All right. One thing you see that I logged in with my root account and my default region is North Virginia. Keep an eye out on this, or keep a note on this. There will be something, changing down the road. Okay, for the key pair, we have two options. Actually, we have multiple options to access key pairs or how to go to that service. In my AWS Management Console, we can go to all services compute. Under the compute, you see EC2. We can go through that. I can, from the top drop down, I can click on services, click on EC2 here, and it'll take me to the same place. I'm gonna just click on it. All right, so you see that I have nothing running at this time. I have 2 security groups and I have 3 key pairs. Okay, this is what I was just doing the video, so that's what I created here. So I'm gonna just delete that. All right, so I'm gonna just go to security group and do a cleanup real quick. You will see only the default one, security group name default. That's the default one that comes pre-packaged with your AWS console. Leave the default one. I'm gonna just click on the other one, which I created an hour ago. Drop down and delete the security group. All right. So I am just leaving the default one here. Okay. Now I'm gonna, for the key pairs, on my left-hand side of the screen, if I scroll down here, I see the network and security. Do you guys see the red dot next to my mouse?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, so that's just, that helps me to highlight where I am looking at. And thank you, Kumail bhai. Yes, the console is, access is console.aws.amazon.com. All right, so under the network and security, you see security groups and then the key pairs down there. So I'm going to click on key pairs. You see that 3 of them are here. So I'm going to just highlight them all. I'm going to delete them. I'm going to start with a clean slate. Amazon recently introduced this, not like in a month or so, but about a year or so, that if you're going for a bulk deletion, it asks you for a confirmation. So to confirmation, you have to type delete. Otherwise, it will not enable that delete button for you. This is for if a person just accidentally select them all and try to delete that. If it previously it happened, and then the next course of action for those people were to update their resume. Okay.
Faisal, do we need to delete the key pairs that we had previously created?
If you have already just delete that, that would be better, because we're gonna be starting fresh. So right now I have a clean slate here, or if you want, you can just keep it there and continue on what I am doing right now. Okay, so I'm gonna do is so I am in the key pairs right now. Everything is blank. On the right hand side of my screen, you see the create key pair. I'm gonna click on that. So it is asking me 2 things. It's asking me for the name of the key, whatever the name which I feel is more understandable for me or maybe for my team. Okay, so I'm gonna just name that accordingly, plus what is the file format. Here's the catch for the Mac guys. You just need this PEM file. Okay, you don't need the PPK file, but just for the sake of learning, you can create and download this PPK file as well. But your task ends at the PEM file. Good for the learning. Let's say, you get onto the job and you do not have any Mac machine. They give you a Windows machine. So I don't want you guys to struggle at that time. Hey, what is happening? So what should I do now? So better to experience or experiment on both the areas. All right, so I'm gonna just name this for the PEM one. This is just for initial classes, just for your learning. I don't want to give these keys a name like PEM or PPK. I'm gonna name them in such a way that you would remember. And as we proceed along, I will introduce a little bit of a complex terminology, but at that time you will be so much well versed in the area, it's not going to be a struggle for you. So right now I'm going to name this .pem, sorry, the PEM file format as my Windows instance key. Okay, I just name it as this so that I would remember. You can put a date or your name or your department name or whatever you want. Okay, I just name it as so that I would remember this is the key which I use for this. This is the key which I am using for the Linux one. All right, so my Windows instance key, this is the PEM file. Keep an eye out here on this down area. So as soon as I click on create key pair, it is going to create the key and also download it to my download folder. Okay.
Faisal bhai,
Yes.
can we put _PEM so we remember that this is a PEM file format, or it will have extension?
It will have extension.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. But if you want, you can put the PEM there as well. Okay, so I'm gonna click on create key pair as soon as is that a question?
I think it was just a background noise. Right.
Okay, right. So if you're not talking, can you please put yourself on mute? I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, Faisal, I have a question here.
Yes.
So for people who are using Windows, so we are supposed to click
Yes.
PEM, right?
For Windows, do the same for PEM and PPK. For Mac, your task, your activity stops at PEM. You do not need to do anything for PPK. So Windows guys, yes, both the keys we're gonna be creating and downloading, both PPK and PAM. All right, so I have the file downloaded, the key is created. It has a unique fingerprint and a unique ID. Don't worry about the key names. What does PPK stands for? What does PAM stands for? What is a fingerprint? Whatever and whatnot. In security, rest assured, I'm gonna have an exclusive session on these keys. How the key works, what is the key pair, what is the significance of these names, how we generate and all that stuff. Okay, so I have a PAM key created, which I named it as my Windows key, my Windows instance key. Okay, now I'm gonna click create key pair again. I'm gonna name this as my Linux key, let's say just name it as my Linux key. Okay, or as I think it was Abutrab, I guess, as Abutrab mentioned, let's just put PPK as well. Let's say put it as my PPK Linux key. Okay, and this time I have PPK highlighted. I'm going to click on create key pair. I highlighted that. Linux key is downloaded as well. You see that, and it is created as well. No two keys will have the same fingerprint. No two keys will have the same ID. Key IDs are different. Fingerprints are different. Names are different as well, obviously. All right, so we have created two keys, right? So one is PPK, one is PM. Okay. I'm gonna hold it off here. There is a third option, which is by going to the actions, which is import key pair. Okay. Time permits. Then we're gonna do this tonight. If we do not have the time left, then we'll see. Maybe we'll do it either tomorrow. Although I have this piece covered in my YouTube video already for you guys. Okay. So these two are of importance for you guys at this time. For Mac guys, this is the one PAM file. For Windows guys, both the keys are required for two different purposes. Okay, key pairs are created. Now, if I go in there, so the key pair is created. So I am just skipping this generate your own at this time. Okay. Next one is security group. Okay, how are we going to create security group? What is the purpose of security group? Okay. What is the default port? What is the access mechanism? How do we punch the hole for the internal access, and then how do we poke the hole for the external access? Going back here again on the drawing board. All right, so let's say I have one instance here. It's a closed box. Okay, we do not have any opening here. Okay, so let's say if it's a Linux one. Okay, it could be Windows or it could be Linux. Okay, so now what is happening is this operating system has everything in it, but it is contained. If it is contained and there's no opening, I cannot access it. I cannot go in, or this machine cannot go out. So in order to access that, what we do is we create a security group around it. Okay, and what does that security group do is, security group allows certain specific ports to come in or to go out of that instance. So the coming in access allows people like you and me to to go into the machine and log in and do the work. Going out allows the services that are running inside the Linux machine to go out. Let's say if they need to access somewhere outside, that's what it allows to go outside. Okay, so all these internal and external access, or inbound or outbound access, that is all in a perspective of this Linux machine. Okay, not in a perspective perspective of me or you or some admin. Okay, so put yourself in Linux machine, or put yourself in its shoes, or consider yourself you're a Linux machine. So what would be your inbound access? So that somebody is coming into that Linux machine. What is the outbound access? Somebody is going out from this Linux machine. Okay, so put yourself in that perspective. Do not put yourself in your perspective and then looking at the Linux machine. Okay, this is important, guys. Inbound and outbound access. That what perspective you are looking into that machine. Very common exam question, very common interview question, even very common mistake people make when they work on the consoles or work on the systems, or they are working on the security side of it. So put yourself in that perspective and then see, am I allowing in or am I allowing outside? You know, that is the key area. Okay, so security group, we build around that. So security group is a sort of a firewall that allows only specific ports that are allowed to come in or go out. Okay, so let's say for a reason this Linux machine has this port only allowed to come in and do the work. By default, Linux machines, they are accessed through port 22, which is the SSH, or which is through PuTTY. So you see that port 22 here. PuTTY by default, or the SSH, or secure shell service, or Linux command line is the access port for the Linux systems. Okay, so Linux is accessed through port 22. On the other hand, Windows is accessed through RDP. And remember the RDP tool which I showed you, this RDP tool here, and that listens to port 3389. Don't have to remember right now. We'll find some document or some information for you guys for common ports. What are the common ports and what is the... So the port is a hole that is punched into that operating system through which you access. Or let me just dumb it down for you guys. Port is the front door access of your house. Let's say you build the house, it's all completely closed. How you're gonna enter into it? You're not gonna jump through the window, or you're not gonna come through the through the roof or through the basement. You have to come through certain route, right? So you have a front door that you have put in, you have a side door, or you have a garage door, or you have a backyard door, or whatever, right? So there has to be some way to enter into that house, so that the area through which you enter into the house, consider that as a port. Okay, so through that port you enter into the house. Similar thing, through the port you enter into your server. It could be Linux, or it could be Windows, or it could be running some application. Let's say you're running a web server, you're running let's say a SQL or database server, or you're running something else, right? So any service or anything that runs on your machine, it has to have a port through which it listens to, and that port access has to be enabled in the security group. Otherwise you will not be able to access that. And we're going to do one exercise, how we're going to block the access, and then we're going to open the access, and we'll see, once you block the access, are you able to access it? Once we're going to enable the access, we'll see, are we going to enter into it or not? Okay, so let's say this machine is Linux, it has this port, it listens to port 22. So what we're going to do, this security group, this green box here around that security group, we're going to punch a hole for port 22. So anybody from the internet trying to access your Linux machine, it has to go through security group to the Linux and then get in. Okay, let's say this is called, I call it SG, or security group. So that's the purpose of security group. If let's say Linux has this port enabled already, but the security group is not, then you will stop at security group. You will not be able to get into your Linux operating system or your Windows OS. Okay. So poking a hole in security group is very critical. You can just block the access right there. You can enable the access right there. Okay. So if the port is not enabled in security group, you will not be able to access it. Okay. Another common one is port 80. Does anybody know what is port 80 is? Maybe one person, or maybe you can type it on the chat.
HTTP.
Okay. HTTP. Yep. Common example of HTTP is your your web server runs on on port 80, which is the HTTP hypertext transfer protocol. So let's say you type google.com, the page comes out, it runs on a web server, and that web server runs on port 80. There's another port which is called port 443. Similar thing, this is called HTTPS. It's a secure HTTP port. Majority of the sites, like you log into YouTube, if it's a secure one, you will see a padlock sign there, and that tells that it is running on HTTPS. So HTTP and HTTPS, they are the web server ports. All right, so this is the purpose of security group UC. Okay, so from anybody from the outside trying to come in, if the port is not enabled or the hole is not poked into the security group, you will not be able to access that. Okay. Similar example, let's say if it's a Windows one, so it must be listening to default. By default, cloud providers, they enable 2 ports on your Windows and Linux machines. Linux machines, they enable them to listen to port 22, no matter if you have the security group enabled or not, the server will be listening to that port. Now it's your responsibility to enable port access, so that people will be able to get in. And Windows, they provide access to 3389, no matter what cloud provider is. Okay. All right. So this is a tutorial on the inbound services. Okay. Now, what if I have some services running that require, so I have some services running on my machine here that require, or on my server here, that require access to the outside world. Like, let's say I have something running on the internet and I need these services to grant access to the outside. Now this machine, sorry, my Linux server is trying to go outside. Let's say I have this outbound port. I have this outbound port. Yeah, you know what? Let me just do this. Okay, and I have a security group around it. Let's say this is my Linux again. All right, so these are the services running on it. They need to access something outside. They're gonna go through my machine. Now, if that access is not enabled on my security group, they will not be able to access outside. So we need to make sure that we have both the access enabled, if required, inbound and outbound. If the inbound access is allowed, I'm going to be in. Outbound, not allowed, I won't be. And once we're going to do, some further down the road, some more lab work, we will see that, what is the reason that, we disable the outbound access or enable the outbound access through someone else, not directly from the internet. All those things, we're going to cover in the network area mainly. Okay. So whatever the default port is, is going to go outside. Okay. There are ports from 1 through 1024. They are called default ports. Okay. And then 1025 through 65535. They are called, let's say, custom ports. Okay, total there are 65. Come on, 65K ports. Okay, out of which first 1K ports or 1,000 ports or 1024, they are set aside for default one. Like port 22 is for SSH, port 80 for web server, 443 for secure web server. Okay, port 25 for legacy SMTP server. Some other ports for so these are the default ports. They are defined as set aside by default. These are the ports. The other ones 1025 through 65K. These are the ones. Let's say I am building a custom application. I cannot use the default ones, so I have to enable, or I have to configure my application in such a way that it goes and talks to those, or talks through these custom ports. Let's say my application listens to port 2000 or port 2020. Okay, so I pick that port. That's my custom port. That's where my application listens to. And then, in the security group, I'm going to poke the hole for that specific port number to be accessed inside or outside. So to answer question of Masood Bhai is yes, different ports can be assigned, and mainly the default ports, they are for the default specific purposes. Try not to use those default ports for your customization. For the customization, pick any port after 1024 port number up to 65K. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is about the default port. So remember, you don't have to remember all the port numbers, but as you work, you will, start remembering or learning all those, port numbers. You don't have to remember them all, 1K ports or ports after, whatever. Okay. The more you know, the better it is. Okay. At times you may not have Google access, or you're just stuck with a face-to-face interview, or, people ask like common question, hey, what is the legacy port for SMTP? If you don't remember, try to, remember at least, some basic ones. Okay. All right. So this is about the inbound and outbound, or internal or external access mechanism. We find out, coming in or going out, how we're going to do that. Default ports, we just talked about those. Any question on security group before I move on?
So Faisal Bhai, these are the same port you mentioned earlier, port number 22?
Yes, port 22 is a default port for SSH.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Faisal Bhai, just to entertain, what is the port? What's the port for FTP?
FTP or SFTP?
Either way.
FTP is 21. SFTP is 22.
Okay, so for those who are watching my comments, that's the nerdiest god.
I was just thinking, this word Kumail Bhai, there's a group of doctors. Their organization is called Doctors Without Borders.
Yes.
I was thinking to, we should start like, Nerds Without Borders.
Nerds Without Borders. Definitely.
Or Geeks Without Borders.
The geeks, exactly.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So if no question on security groups, I'm gonna move on to the.
So, Brother Faisal, I've got a question.
Sure.
I don't know if you'll go through that later in the course, but can you assign certain ports by applications, or are those reserved as well? Like Microsoft applications or some other application that we develop in-house?
I will not be developing any application. That is what Kumail Bhai is currently teaching, but I don't think that he will be teaching you to, customize the port or open a default or custom port. See, if time permits, I probably will take it as an advanced one in our last session. And you can, tweak around with the default ports. Instead of listening to the default port, you make the server to listen to a different port number. You can do that, but this will be a bit advanced for this group. So maybe I'll take it to the very last session.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right. So we created the key pairs, and a similar area in the EC2 dashboard. I'm going to scroll down here under the network and security. You see the security groups. So I'm going to click on that. You see that there is a default security group. Leave it as is, although organizations, they don't prefer, they delete the default ones. So you guys do not delete it right now. Leave it as is. Okay. We're going to create a new one. Okay. On the right hand side, you see the create security group. I'm going to click on that. I clicked on it. All right. It is asking me some information like what is the basic security group name, description, which VPC it is under. All right. And inbound rule and outbound rule, and then tags, optional tags. Okay. What I'm going to do is, are you guys able to see my screen correctly, or do you want me to increase the font size?
It looks good.
It's better? Okay.
Faisal, just a little bit high, if you could zoom it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah, this is much better. Yes.
Okay. Because I'm used to, I'm not used to of this, 100 plus. I normally have my, the resolution here around 75 to 80%.
Okay. Yeah, this looks good. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Perfect. Okay. So security group name, I'm going to name it as whatever you like. Okay. Let's say you have a finance department, you have a marketing department, you have, some engineering department. Finance, you want to grant access to certain specific ports. For engineering, for certain specific, or some other group for certain specific. So you can, go by the department wise, or you have, a set of servers that only be accessing, be accessed through, port 9000. So you just, create that specific security group. That security group is assigned to the set of those servers, and you access through that. But here, I'm going to just go by, some generic name. So I'm going to just name it as, let's say, my SG_cloud training or something. Okay. Description, I'm going to just give a grant access to Linux and Windows instances. Okay. I'm going to define it as SSH and what is the second one? RDP. Okay. So I'm going to poke a hole for SSH and RDP services. Okay. All right. So inbound, remember, put yourself in a machine, on a server's perspective that I am a server, people coming in. So I need to have those ports, right? So inbound rule, I'm going to have like people coming in. Outbound, that I am going out. Okay. So inbound rule, I'm going to click on add rule. Now type protocol range and source and description. Okay. Default ports, very commonly used default ports, Amazon already has put in there for us. Okay, fine, just drop it down. You see SSH, SMTP, DNS, HTTP, POP, IMAP, LDAP, whatever and whatnot. Several of those very commonly used services Amazon already put in there for us. Okay. I can create a custom TCP, custom UDP. Don't worry about what is TCP, what is UDP. In network, yes, we'll cover that. Maybe not to a very extensive level, but at least to give you guys, to give you guys, a base understanding of that. SSH stands for secure shell. So that secure shell is used to access your Linux boxes through the PuTTY. Okay, so now I'm going to do is I'm going to be picking SSH. Picked SSH, and by default, it picked TCP as a protocol, and port is 22. Okay. Yes, we are creating in the AWS console. We are not, we are actually prepping up for, this is to answer Mukhtar Bhai. We are prepping up for the instance which we are going to launch in a bit. So this is the prep work. Security group is one prep work, and the other one was the key pairs. So we created the keys. Now we're creating the security group. Okay. So
quick question. I'm so sorry. I don't want to lose your thought. Why did we say it again? Why did we choose SSH?
SSH is for the Linux. So Linux is accessed through SSH.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and Windows is accessed through the RDP. All right. So big port. I picked the port type. It picked the port range or port number for me. Again, put yourself in. Consider yourself you are a Linux server. Now, people coming into you, they will be the source. You will be the target because they are coming in. They are targeting you. Okay. Once they are targeting you, so they will be the source. Okay. So now, what source? Okay. Normally, we do not enable for the entire world. Okay. Right now, we're just enabling it just to give, just to start off the process. And then as we proceed along, we're gonna, start narrowing it down. So as an example, your finance machines, your finance production machines, you do not grant access to your developers, or let's say your junior resources, or let's say your engineering, because engineering has nothing to do finance. Or some, let's say, two different groups, they do not have anything in common. You do not grant access, one group to another, unless there's something which is common going on, then you grant access, otherwise no. Okay. So source here, I'm gonna so there are three options: custom, anywhere, and my IP. Okay. How do I know what is my IP? There is a very good URL. Just type here, or not, just Google it. What is my IP? Will tell you that this is my current machine's IP address. That's the public IP address I currently have. You will have a different IP address. So if you want to, see what is my IP, you can just search here and, get that. So I'm going to let's just go with the custom for now, or you can go with anywhere as well. Custom, and you see there are different available options. It is giving me CIDR block. Don't worry about it at this time. There are /0, 8, 16, /8/16 /24, 32. The bigger the number, the smaller the network. So 4 zeros /0 is a nerdy term for internet, which means that anybody, anywhere in the world who has access to internet can access this port. Okay. So that means that I am opening it for the entire world. Okay. Not a good practice. It's going to warn us as well a couple of times, but just for the just for the start of this conversation here. Description, let's say I'm going to just put, since this is for SSH, I'm going to just type here SSH access for Linux. Okay. Now I'm going to see, remember we're doing it for SSH. Now we're going to do for RDP as well. Drop it down. I'm going to find out where the RDP is. Come on, RDP. There it is. As soon as I pick RDP, 3389 is a default port it picked. Okay. I'll just, this time I'm going to pick, let's say, anywhere. As soon as I pick anywhere, it picked the same thing, 4 zeros, plus there's another thing it picked, which is 2:/0. This is IP version 4 format, and this is IP version 6 format. Okay. Don't worry about it. We'll cover as much as I could. What is the IP4 version? What does it cover? And what is IP6 version? Okay. All right. So open RDP. Okay. So this will be RDP access for Windows. All right. So we have two inbound rules I defined, one for SSH, one for RDP. Okay. I'm going to come down here. All right. For the outbound rule. Remember, I am the Linux machine. I want it to go outside. So this will be my outbound rule. Okay. Here, default, it is giving me outbound rule is any traffic, any protocol, any service, whatever. Service number 0 through service number 65535, whatever 65K services I have, they all can go easily outside without any problem. Okay. So outbound access is allowed. Okay. Should not be, but let's just start off with that. Okay. So all traffic, all port, all protocol are allowed, and destination is custom 00. That means anything from Linux inside can go outside anywhere. Okay. Wherever it wanted to connect on the internet, it can go anywhere. Okay. We can tweak it down or we can create another rule. Just leave it as is by default, okay? I'm gonna drop down. Tags optional. Let's just give it a tag. So tag is a key value pair. So tag is like, department finance, let's say, name, whatever the name it is. Let's say group this or whatever, whatever the tag you think that you can slap on this that distinguishes it among the other security groups, okay? Or we can, it's optional one, we can do it afterwards as well. So let's just leave it for now. I don't want to do that now. All right, so I'm going to click on create security group. Now I have a security group created, my SG Cloud Training. This is the security group name, whatever. These are the inbound and outbound rules. Okay. Security group, you can update and change on the fly. Once you assign it to your instance, you can change it, you can update it, you can revoke the access, you can grant the access. So you can do whatever you want, okay? It does not require a bouncing or the reboot of the machine, or it does not require any bounce or reboot or restart of the security group services, okay? It is real time. You open it now, you close it now. It will be in effect right away for you soon as you click save, okay?
Faisal bhai, if someone has already access to your box and you've changed the security group, would they be kicked out?
Yes, their access will be revoked right there.
Okay.
And let's say they are waiting on the door for you. As soon as you open the access, they will just get in. Okay. Yeah, either way it works. All right. So we're going to have, like I said, we're going to have a presentation in a minute or two, whenever my partners are ready, Abir and Zamin, if you guys are ready. But before we start, is there any question on security group or the key pairs before we proceed?
Assalamu alaikum, this is Abdullah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Acha. I wanted to ask you, is it a good practice to have two different like RDP and SSH command in the same security group for Linux, or you have to make a different security group for RDP access and the SSH?
Well, normally it depends on, how the IT practice is. I do not put Windows and Linux services all together. I want them to be separate. Depends on the department and all that. Let's say, you have like 20,000 security groups, how you're going to manage them, right? So it has to be, it has a manageability issue as well. So it all depends, how your IT or your leadership is looking into it. Because I've seen some clients, their customer or their security or the InfoSec group, they have, specific requirements that, you cannot, cross mingle, or you have to have, separate ones and all that. So it all depends, how the mandate is coming from the top leadership. So yeah, right now I created one because if I create multiple ones, it will just, chew up the time.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. All right, so I'm gonna, Kumail bhai, can you grant presentation as or presenter rights to Abir and Zamin?
Yep,
And I'm gonna stop this here.
Wait 1 second. Who's going first? Abir? Okay. Abir, give me 1 second. Okay, you should have presenter rights, Abir.
Okay. Just confirm when you guys can see the screen.
All right, I see it, Abir.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Hello and assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to, before I get into this presentation and talk a little bit about our initiative called Rubik Solutions a little bit, I wanted to take an opportunity to thank Faisal bhai for giving us the option, Kumail bhai, all other instructors, IEC Hussaini, for having this all together. A couple of things to get started and to get the stage ready. I wanted to tell you that what this initiative is all about and what you guys are all doing on this session. First of all the instructors and everyone that's doing this service is such a noble service, and I think it goes without saying, and we all feel how important it is to come together to work with all the students to help them and elevate them and provide them an opportunity to raise their level. And that's essentially what this, what our initiative is all about too. We all sat down and we started thinking about how can we take our efforts for the community, for ourselves, for everything, like what's missing in the community. And one of the areas that really stood out was forming a bridge. So, you know, you're coming here to gain some knowledge, you know, you will inshallah get your certifications and everything. And then of course, you're doing this to either land a better job or get your first job, even out of college, you know, a really good one, right? Or somehow or the other impact yourself and, you know, just expanding your personal and your career growth. And where we thought we can plug in and where we can help is we can leverage our networks. We've been in the industry for a long time. We know all of you. So of course you're part of our network, but at the same time, even in the professional world, we have spent a number of years and we've made some connections. And what can we do? We started thinking that we can utilize that connection. We can do something for the community, especially. And the answer was to maybe start an organization like Rubik Solution and provide services, provide recruiting and talent acquisition services to organizations, to our contacts, to people, and help people like yourself who are starting on and getting on this journey to help you land a better position and work with you guys, work with building your resumes and so forth, and preparing you for the overall experience. So give me an opportunity. Let's go. I'm going to dive right in here and give you guys a little summary and then hand off the baton to Zaman Rizvi to finish off the presentation. So our agenda real quick is we're going to talk about our story, our mission. What is our philosophy? Who are we? You know, I gave you a gist of where my head's at and where we all are kind of sitting and pondering and seeing where can we make an impact. But officially, we're gonna get you through these slide decks real quick, and then we are gonna get into our services. So what is it that everything that we are doing? Are we just, is Abir saying talent acquisition? Are they just helping us land a job or recruiting? Or are we doing more than that? So you'll get to learn that. Who's our team? And then we are also going to talk more about what are some of the incentives that we are going to offer. So let's go through. We're going to talk about our story, mission, philosophy, and services. And here we go. So we started with this quote of Maula Ali al-Islam that resonated really well. Help and you will be helped. So we all sat down, and officially, let me just read through this statement. Rubik Solution was founded with a core value to empower individuals like yourself by guiding them to a brighter future and helping them grow. We always looked at our friends, our circle, our community members, our neighbors, whoever we look at, as our moral, religious obligation to try to do our best to elevate every one of us that's around us together. I think that's the beauty. I mean, anyone can go and do things individually and can obtain the education, can be successful, but there is a bit of a burden, or I should say maybe a moral responsibility that we all share. And I know you all feel the same way. And we actually need all of you, even in making this platform available across within your network, getting the word out, talking to organizations that you currently work in, and maybe looping in individuals that are in the market that are looking for work. So that's essentially what our mission statement was. As we sat down and we picked up a pen, we started to write down that what are we going to do? What are we doing? This is what we are doing. Our philosophy cannot be summarized better, that through patience, great things are accomplished. What you guys are doing, times are tough. I can't even begin to tell you that as we have embarked on this journey in the midst of COVID, there are so many people in our community, outside our community, that are impacted. We all know people that have been impacted. There are thousands of people that are looking for work, and I think this service is very much needed, especially for someone that's within the community that can help individuals like all of us. I mean, we all need help, and we can do this together. So from here on, I'm gonna request Zaman Bhai to please come off mute and start talking about it, and I'll control the slide deck to talk more about what our services are and how can we help in grand scheme of things. Thank you very much. Zaman Bhai.
Hey, thank you so much, Abir. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, because I know you guys are in different time zones, so I had to cover everyone. My name is Zaman Rizvi, and Faisal and Kumail Bhai, thank you again. We were together in a session yesterday, and I would like to thank you again for taking this initiative and introducing us. By the way, can you all hear me?
Yes, you can. Yep.
Okay. So we're going to be talking more about Rubrik Solutions, and here is a slide which says what services do we provide. Number one is recruiting and talent acquisitions. Like Abir has already emphasized on it, I'm just going to amplify and expand. You guys are taking these classes. Some of you are in AWS, some of you are in Python and web development and all that. So what we have done, like Abir has said, we have in our career, we have created this network, people that we know, people that hire people who are looking for young talent, and I shouldn't say young, but new talent who is in the market. So we can get all of you who are trained professionals in different fields to get to the people who are hiring and looking for that talent. So this is where we're going to bridge that gap, like Abir has said. And like advisory, transformation, it does not end on the last session of these classes. We are always there. Just like Abir has said, I keep mentioning Abir, I'm sorry, because you have pretty much covered a lot. Let's say you take these classes, you took them, and then what? And then what? Where do you stand? That's where we come in. We will support you, we will advise you, and we will tell you what avenues you should be looking at. And that's where our services for advisory and transformation is critical important. Trust me, there was a time where I was at your spot. I was looking to landing a job. I did not have this platform which you guys have right now, thanks to all the instructors on IEC. And consulting and support service, that pretty much is very self-explanatory, that we will be consulting with you all. If you need our assistance, we will be talking to you. We will be helping you. Let's say you say Abir Bhai or Syed Bhai or Zaman Bhai or Faisal Bhai, I'm having a little issue in creating my resumes, or how does interview take place? We will definitely guide you and walk you through in all those processes. We will not leave you alone. So Abir, can you do me a favor and move the slide up, please? So I'm going to be introducing you with our team who is involved in Rubrik Solutions. All the three people who are involved in Rubrik Solutions are pretty, you might know all of them. Abir, if you go forward, the first picture is Abir with his great smile, and then Faisal with his exotic smile, and then me, very serious. So although I'm not a very serious person, but you see our names, our email addresses, and our telephone numbers. Now, guys and girls, please do not shy or hesitate to contact us. These are our email addresses. These are our phone numbers. You will be getting them in email. Abir, am I right on this? They will be getting this tag.
Mhm.
So please contact us if you have any problem, even during the classes or even after the classes. Contact us. Do not hesitate to do it. And Abir, if you can just move. Yeah. Okay. So what Rubik solution offers? We have three very good incentives for all of you who are attending not only this class, but also other classes. But I'm going to talk about this AWS Cloud. So first of all, we will reimburse 100% of your certification fee for the first 5 candidates who will complete their AWS certification by September 7th, 2020. So first 5 candidates who will complete their certification for AWS, your fees are going to be reimbursed by Rubik Solutions. So basically, I know these COVID-19 thing, and things are very hard for everyone. Everyone, trust me. It's not only you, it's everyone. So putting up $100, $150, or $300 can be tough. But don't worry, we are there. Like I had mentioned previously, that we will not leave you alone. We will keep supporting you till the end, as much as you want. So this is one of the initiatives that we have taken, that anyone who will clear their AWS certification, first five, I shouldn't say top, first 5 by September 7th, your fees will be reimbursed. Second one is referral bonus. Now, what does that mean? Let's say you have a friend looking for a job in IT, or you have a friend who is just being laid off and is looking for something, or some project, some jobs. Let us know that, listen, contact Rubik Solutions. They might be able to help you. And if you do that and your friend does land the job, we will definitely give you a very good, lucrative monetary bonus. That is our promise to all of you. Even if your friend lands a job through your referrals, you will get a monetary bonus. And number 3 is business avenues, which I'm going to talk about, is that refer Rubik Solutions to your current and previous employees, and all of your network. I know some of you might be working in different fields, not only IT. You might be in marketing or sales or engineering or even medicine, or even you are working, somebody might be driving an Uber, and a guy sits behind you and he might be an IT manager. You start engagement. You refer Rubik Solutions to them. And that will be a great help. And this help, what will it do is it create a bigger network for Rubik Solutions to create opportunities for you all. The more network we have, the more opportunities you will have. There was I can't remember of the Hollywood movie where Tom Cruise said, "Help me to help you." This is where we come in. And at the bottom, you are seeing these hashtags like giving back or our contribution, or we will stand by you, token of appreciations, together we stand. However you want to take it, we will always be there for you. And the amount of efforts you are taking right now, I know Abir has given 2 quotations of Maula Ali. I cannot supersede Maula Ali, but there's a quotation of Mark Twain, which I really love, is never let schooling hinder your education. So that's why we are all here. We are amplifying, exceeding our education to get better, to land a better job and excel in our careers. Abir, can you just move forward one more, please? I think it should be the last one. Here you go, guys and girls. I should be politically correct these days. Elections are coming. That's just a funny joke. Don't laugh. But here's our information. Here's our phone number. And at the bottom left, you might see our Facebook, LinkedIn, and our website. I would really encourage all of you to go to our Facebook. Please like us. On LinkedIn, please follow us. On our website, please go and visit. And that would be really helpful for Rubik Solutions. And the more Rubik Solutions grow, it's not our company, it's your company. And that's our commitment. Thank you, guys. Thank you, girls. Thank you, Faisal and Kumail Bhai and Abir. And now we are open for a few minutes for anyone who has any questions right now. We are willing to answer those. Thank you, guys. So if there are no more, I think Faisal, there's no questions at this point.
So one question. So is this necessary? The person need to be in AWS? Like we have people in Canada who are looking for a job, like business analysts, other people. Can you help them with that as well?
Okay, and I'm sorry, I did not catch your name.
Hassan.
Okay. Yeah, Hassan bhai. So we are bound. We don't have any boundaries at this point. We are pretty much, all the group is very well connected. We have connections in Canada. We have connections in Mexico. We have connections all over the world. But I think in this class, most of the people who are joining, I'm saying most, not all, are from United States. But if you do know someone who's in Canada, is looking for a job, who's, hustling or, is going through it, refer to us. We can definitely try to get him or land him a job.
Look, I just want to add to that, and I see the support from the crowd on text. Thank you, Masood Bhai, Alicia and Lisa, all of you. I just want to let you know that this is basically you or anyone, you're just multiplying your opportunity to land a position, right? You can land a position yourself, and we would be more than happy. It's mainly what we are trying to do is we're trying to bridge that gap. We're trying to create an awareness. We want to network, we want to get to know you, and we want to stay connected because, it's us, it's the people that's on this class, which is going to be, inshallah, sitting at a director level, sitting at a VP level 10 years from now, or 2 years from now, or maybe some people are already there, and that's how we want to make sure that we are elevating together. And at the end of the day, wherever you are, as Zaman Bhai said, we're here to help. We can at least try, and we will do that. Any other questions?
Yeah, go on, please. Yeah, you raise your hand, I think, Satwat.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Sir, could you please tell me, do you offer the jobs too?
You mean offering the job within our company?
Yeah, through your company.
Satwat, I wish your words will come true very soon. At this point, we are not offering any jobs within the company, but inshallah, maybe in a few months, we will be offering jobs within a company, but let's see how this COVID-19 play out. Did I answer your question?
Assalamu alaikum, Zamin bhai.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, Zamin bhai, could you please let me know your clients whom you refer to the consultants?
And I'm sorry, can I catch your name, please? I'm so sorry.
My name is Syed Nasser. I'm from
Syed
Ireland. Yeah.
Okay. So Syed Nasser sahab, here's the thing. It depends on your skill sets. Let's say somebody's looking for AWS, so our contacts are totally different if somebody's looking for web development. So it all depends what your skill sets are. We have a variety of clients. But again, I'm sorry.
Zaman bhai, let me add one more point, and it also depends on the market demand at the time, right? There are different organizations that we may not be directly connected with, but we may be connected with some other layers of recruiters that may be looking to hire someone, and you happen to be right there at the right time, and you click, and that's how you can get hired too. So there's a lot of mechanics that goes behind the scenes.
And we are more focused, like Abir said, we are focused on IT, information and technology. But I assure you, there's a person who contacted us. He had an engineering degree, but we have connections to an extent where we can connect that person to their relative field. But as Rubik Solutions, we are pretty much focused with IT. Was we able to answer your question, Mr. Nasir?
Yeah, I did. I just want to curious to know in which sort of domain do you guys actually work with the clients? Because I've been recently moved from India to US, so my whole you can say career was into the IT recruitment. I've worked there for many big firms, so I'm just trying to push myself into IT right now. So I've been taking this AWS classes. So I'm seeking myself into the IT again. So just curious.
So I think we can hire you as a recruiter. How about that? Good news, guys. We just found a good prospect. But good question, and we are very diverse, Nasir Saab. We are very diverse. We have contacts in cloud. We have contacts in IT support. We have contacts in Oracle World, Oracle and NetSuite. We have contacts in CRMs. So we are pretty, we have a very broad spectrum, or I should say a canvas that we can work in. Some people are, even healthcare. Some recruiters are focused in healthcare, or some recruiters are focused in, let's say, Google Cloud, Azure, or AWS. But the point which we are trying to make is that we can bridge that gap into very versatile sort of a market.
Yep. Well, I think it'd be great. We would love to be in touch with you and all the rest of you guys. I think we've taken a lot of time. I wanted to quickly wrap it up. If you guys have any other questions, we are here. Faisal Bhai is here. Zamin Bhai is here. Umel Bhai is here. So, there's another question. Okay, that's the last question. Let's quickly listen to Satwat. Please go ahead.
Sir, I have a rich experience in Oracle as a DBA. I have done a couple projects, almost 2 years. And what would you advise me? Should I go to the cloud or stay in Oracle database?
I think Faisal Bhai, it's all yours.
Because I intended to go to the AWS, that's why.
Yeah.
Cloud is the future, no matter what. By hook or by crook, we're gonna be in cloud.
And Satwat, even Oracle is moving into cloud. They're big enterprises, Oracle. They're small enterprises called NetSuite. And NetSuite is the first cloud-based ERP system. And now Oracle has moved into cloud. Even SAP, if you compare SAP with Oracle, they are moving into cloud. So everything is cloud, cloud, cloud. Let's just hope it doesn't rain.
Yeah. So which one is better, AWS or still stay on Oracle?
Brother Satwat, if I may interject here real quick. DBA, don't be offended. DBAs these days are a commodity. Cloud is a niche.
Yes. Yeah, you wanna position yourself for the future, Satwat, and every one of you that's taking this class, this particular class, all the rest other classes too, but you could be positioning yourself to be in the industry and be a niche, right, for the next 15 to 20 years in this economy, right? Even in this economy, I should say. So you're doing the right thing. You're in the right class. I would expect to see your certification be done within 30 days. Make that a target, put stake in the ground, and march towards it.
Inshallah. Faisal Bhai, Abir, Zamin, I just wanted to make a quick comment. There are some, audiences for this particular class online as well as offline who are watching this. This services that you're offering for Rubik Solutions, these are open to everyone, community members, outside of the community members, and everyone, right? I just want to
everyone who's watching or listening or is going to hear the recording, it's open to everyone.
Wonderful, thank you.
There's going to be a flyer that we are also going to be getting out to you guys so that you can circulate that, get the word out. Consider this as your own organization and help us grow, because as we grow, it's your network that's growing, and we are very homegrown. We want to stay that way, and grow together. All right. I think I want to quickly wrap it up. Contact us.
I think we should.
Yes. Thank you very much, guys. Zaman bhai, Faisal bhai.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Well, last thing, guys. So Rubik solution is all above the color, creed, gender, location, religion, whatever, whatnot. So we are here to help you guys out. It's not just only the people here in this group, but pass on the message into your circle of people around you. Before I start up, I think we should take like a 3 minutes break, give you guys a chance to stretch out. And so right now it's 7:25, 7:28, we're gonna start, okay? So I'm gonna mute myself here. I'm gonna stretch out as well and be back shortly. So Kumal bhai, we can mute, pause the recording.
Yeah, I'm pausing it, yeah.
All right.
Yep, recording resumed.
Alrighty. Okay, so we complete the security group. Now we're gonna launch Windows instance and then we're gonna launch Linux instance. So I'm gonna go to the console again. All right, so I am in the console. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into EC2 dashboard. So here you see that we have 2 key pairs and we have 2 security groups. Everything is 0 at this time. So I can click on running instances, go do that. I can click on launch instance, or I can go into the instance and then launch the instance. There are multiple ways of doing it. Before I launch it, we just need to make sure that our region is our region is green and all the zones are green right now. Okay, so I'm gonna launch the instance. We're gonna pick everything default. All right, so give me 1 second. Let me find out where is the pointer. Okay, alrighty. So here's the catch, guys. Remember last time I emphasized on it. Pick the instance that is free tier eligible, okay? And there's a checkbox here, free tier only, checkbox on it, or click on the checkbox, and it will show you only the free tier eligible instances. So right now we are launching a Windows instance. It is a 7-step process. We are at step number 1, which is choosing the AMI or Amazon Machine Image. All right, so I'm gonna pick the base Windows Server 2019, okay? And this is free tier eligible as well. All right, so I'm gonna click select. I am on step number 2. Step number 2, it is also important that we pick T2 Micro, which is free tier eligible. It has 1 CPU and 1 gig of RAM. It comes by default. If you pick anything else, it will be not on a free tier, but you will be charged for it. So make sure that this is picked up. Next one is do not click on review and launch. Click on next, which is configure instance details, which is step number 3. Here, we're gonna be keeping everything default, and rest assured, we're gonna be discussing what is the network, subnet, and all that, placement groups, IAM roles, as we proceed along into our subsequent sessions. Number of instances, just keep 1 for now. All right, so I'm gonna click next, which is add storage. So I am at step number 4.
Faisal bhai?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I lost for a few seconds. Where did you go step number 1 to step 4? Where did you click on it?
I did not do anything. Let me just go to the previous.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. I just go. So this is the step number 1. I clicked on the free tier only. So it just picks only the free tier eligible, and I scroll down and I'm gonna pick Windows 2019 server base, which is free tier eligible. Okay. So I'm gonna select on that. Once I select,
how did you get to this page? I'm sorry.
Okay, how did I get to this page? Okay,
Yes, sir.
Let me cancel this real quick. All right, so here, let's say I am on the AWS, okay? I am on the AWS Management Console, okay? Here under the all services, you see compute, you see EC2. Either you click here or you can drop down on the services and under the compute, you see EC2. So you can click here. Either way, it'll take you that through the dashboard. Once I am on the dashboard, you see the launch instance. Under the launch instance, you see the button for the launch instance. Click on it. And then click on the launch instance again. It'll take you to this step number 1. Okay. Before you proceed along, click on the checkbox here, free tier only. Click on it. And in the start of this list, you see all those Linux machines. Scroll down. You will see Windows 2019 server base, which is free tier eligible here. So select on that. Now I am on second step, which is choose the instance type. So pick T2 Micro, which is free tier eligible. It is checked by default. Click next, configure instance details. All right, so everything we are leaving it default. We're not changing anything here. Click next, add storage. We are not adding any additional storage. We're gonna be doing an additional exercise once we go talk about the storage, okay? So we'll just leave it as is by default. It's not encrypted, delete on termination, everything is checked, whatever and whatnot. All right, so next is add tags. I'm gonna click next. Here, I'm gonna add one tag here. I'm gonna click add tag. I'm gonna just give it a name with uppercase N, A-M-E. I'm gonna name it as our first Windows instance, okay? Both the instance and the volumes are checked. That means that this tag is gonna be applied to the instance and also the volumes, okay? All right, next, it is asking for security group. It is giving me an option to create a new security group or select an existing one. Remember in previous one, we recently created a security group. So I'm gonna click on that, select security group, giving me 2 options. One is default and the one is my SG Cloud Training. This is the one which we created for SSH and RDP. So I'm gonna select this one. As soon as I selected it, it shows me that it has SSH and RDP access are enabled. All right, so I'm gonna click next, review and launch. Here, it is giving me a warning that my security group is open to the world. Remember, we picked 000. See the 00, so everybody in the world can come and access that. Leave it as is for now. I know that this is not a good security practice, but we're gonna pick that, okay? All right, so next one is launch, and this is a critical piece. If you do not pick the right key or if you skip this section, we will not be able to access our instance, okay? So choose and so it gives me an option, if I drop down, choose existing, create a new one or proceed without a key. So I'm gonna choose an existing one.
Right?
Yes.
Can you repeat that last step again, like what you did with the configure security group?
Security group, okay, if I click cancel here, I am not sure if it's, all right, so hold on to the security group. Once we go do that on the Linux one, I'll show you, what we did on the security group, okay?
Okay, sure.
Doing the similar thing on security. So you have to click on click on that existing one, not a new one. So there are 2 radio buttons. The top one is enabled. Click on the one below, and then in the drop down, pick the one which is the one which we created.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So choose an existing key pair, and then I'm going to drop it down. Remember, we create my Windows instance key. So I'm going to just pick this one because I am, going to access my Windows instance. Okay. Mac guys also, pick the same thing. And then you have to acknowledge that, click on it, that you have access to the selected key in your current machine. Okay. And it is telling me that, without that file, I won't be able to log into my instance. You forgot that you do not have that key in your machine. You will not be able to access it. You have to recreate from the scratch, from the start. Okay. I'm going to click next, which is the launch instance. As soon as I click on it, it is going to start the background work to, cloning it and then, building it for you. Okay. Now here, it's saying that your instance is now launching. It is, being built. I can click on view instance. If I go in there, it's going to take me to the EC2 dashboard again. Here you see that it is in the pending state. It's going to take some time. By the time it is being built, if I just click refresh here, although it is showing in running state, but I will not be able to access that because it is doing some additional background work that requires some additional time. So by the time this Windows instance is being built, we're gonna launch our Linux instance as well. Okay, how we're gonna go do that? Similar thing, you know, either we can go from, you know, here launch instance, or you know, I can click on instances, or I can go to EC2 dashboard, or I can click on services and go start from the EC2. Okay. So I'm going to click on launch instance from here. All right. So I am on this step number 1. This time I am going to launch our Linux instance. Okay. Again, checkbox, free tier only. Okay. Now I have multiple options. Either I pick Amazon Linux, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu, because there are multiple flavors of Linux operating system that are available, but Windows is Windows with different versions like 2019, 2008, or 2012 server or whatever and whatnot. But here Linux, I mean, it has, you know, some more available, you know, on the buffet table for us. So let's just pick the first one, which is Amazon Linux. Okay, I'm going to click select here. Same thing, make sure T2 Micro is checked. Next, configure instance details. Everything default, I am not changing anything here, okay? Click next, add storage. Storage is same, nothing is changing here, okay? Next, add tag. I'm gonna give it a tag. I'm gonna click on add tag, uppercase N with the name. I'm gonna give it as first, let's say first Linux, okay? This tag will be associated with both instance and the volumes. Next, security group. I'm not sure, was that Abu Turab that you asked the question? So assign the security group. We are at step number 6. So instead of creating a new security group, I'm gonna click on select an existing security group. I clicked on it here. Same thing, 2 options, either pick the default one or the MySG Cloud Training, which we just created, that grant access to Linux and Windows instances, okay? So I'm gonna click on the one which we just created, okay? So this will give us the RDP access to our machines.
Faisal bhai?
Yeah.
Till step number 5, everything was by default, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. All right, so next is review and launch. I'm gonna click review and launch. Same thing is gonna give me a warning about my security group. I don't care at this time. And then, you know, review whatever the configs it is showing. Click launch, same thing. Make sure you don't skip on this part.
One quick question. When we were on step number 6, what did we choose? Select an existing security group, right?
Existing, yes.
And then on 3, bottom one, which one we choose? MySG Cloud Training?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so here, I'm gonna choose the existing key pair, but now this time I'm not gonna pick the Windows instance, but I'm gonna pick my PPK Linux key, okay? I pick this one, I click on acknowledgement that yes, I have access to the key. Click on launch instance. As soon as I click on launch instance, my instance is being launched. I'm gonna go click on view instances. This is in the pending state. It is being launched at this time. Refresh it again. It is being launched. By the time it is being launched, I'm gonna highlight my Windows instance. Okay, I'm gonna highlight here. Once I highlight it here, it is giving me a couple of things. I need to validate that I have a DNS IP address, or sorry, DNS name or IPv4 public IP. That is the same as it is in the 3.94. It's in the dotted notation. It's supposed to be in the dotted notation IP addresses. In DNS, you know, they do not have the dotted notation. So that's why they pick the name along with the IP address with the dash notation or hyphenated notation. All right, so one thing is this. Second is platform details. You see that it's a Windows platform. AMI is the Windows server, okay? These two are, you know, critical ones. Then the third critical piece is instance type. You see that instance type T2 micro. It has to be T2 micro. That means that it is a free tier eligible one. And the last piece is, which is one of those critical ones as well, key pair name. What is the key pair name I use to build this Windows instance? My key pair, I picked my Windows instance key. I should have this key in my machine, in my laptop, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is, I highlighted it here, and pay attention here, guys. How do we connect to it, okay? I highlighted it here. I'm gonna click on connect. You see the connect on top? I clicked here. It is telling me I need to connect through the RDP. Remember the RDP, I have it here, see here's this RDP. But here in this RDP, I have to populate, I have to put in the host name or the machine name or the IP address, public IP address, and also the administrator name. Instead of this, it is giving me an option that it has pre-populated everything here. If I just click on this download remote desktop file, I would like you to download this. So click on it and it will download it here. Okay, I'm gonna click here. You see that this file is downloaded. So this file is pre-populated with pretty much all the information. All it needs, the password. So it has the public DNS here. It has the username, administrator. Remember, Windows has a administrator user and Linux has a different user. Administrator user. Now password. How do I get the password? This is the trickiest part where we need the key. Okay. Click on get password. Once I click on the get password, at times it shows me that, instance is not ready yet. So, wait for 4 more minutes or a couple more minutes. If you see that error message or warning message, just wait for it. And then, check back maybe next, couple of minutes. So it is telling me that the key pair, this instance is created with name is this, my Windows instance key.pam file. So I need to upload this file here. So I'm going to have to click choose file. Okay. See this file name is here, my Windows instance key.pam. I'm going to click on it. It populated the values here. Now I have to click on decrypt password. Once I click on the decrypt password.
Speed test.
So once I click on the decrypt password, I see that the password is populated here. It's a very long alphanumeric special character password combination. So I
don't remove it.
Go to the end, and I'm gonna have to see that there's an icon coming here. That is the copy to clipboard. I click on it, it copied. Now my password is copied. Okay. The task with this window is complete. Okay. I can close the window. Now I have to go to that RDP downloaded file, which was downloaded using this icon or this button here. This file is downloaded. So I launch this file. It is giving me a unknown publisher warning message. Don't worry about it. Click connect. It is connecting. Now it is asking for the password. So password is this, which we just copied. So I'm going to just paste the password here. Okay. And I'm going to click OK. As soon as I click OK, it's going to give me one more warning. Okay. That this is the first time we're connecting. So I'm going to click yes. All right. So as soon as I click yes, now my Windows EC2 instance is launched. Okay. My Windows EC2 instance is launched. It is going to perform some background work. Now what you see here is.
That's White.
Yes, sir.
I'm having an error message saying error decrypting your password. Private key must begin with and then begin RSA private key.
So you must be using a wrong key.
Okay, so go back and create the key again.
Not create the key. You remember which key you picked? Maybe you might have picked a Linux key for Windows encryption or decryption.
I picked the Linux one is titled as my PPKey Linux key, so I know I didn't pick that.
So Faisal bhai, one question.
Yes.
After encryption, what's the last step that you have performed?
After the decrypt the password, I copied the password.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just minimize this here. See, I decrypt the password, I got the password, and then I copied it. Once I copy the password, I launched that RDP, which I downloaded this.
Okay.
In that,
Okay, I have to copy the password. Okay, copy it and then download it. Okay.
yeah, exactly. And then it is going to ask for the password in that under the administrator, you paste that password, it will launch it for you. Now it is launched. Okay, so I maximize it here. You see this, this blue blue bar here that has the machine name. So this is, I am connected to a cloud machine. I am not working on my Linux laptop. Oh, sorry, my Windows laptop right now. If I see this bar on top here, that means I am connected or I am working on my Windows cloud machine. So this is my first cloud machine I just launched. Okay. And also on the
Faisal, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Do we need to install some kind of VM tools just like we install in VMware? So in order to install all the drivers, like sound driver is missing right now.
Normally things come by default. I have not seen people installing any such thing as like VM drivers or VM tools that you install on VMware.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have a okay. So Faisal bhai, after launching it desktop, okay, I'm with you. Okay, yes. Okay.
One question, Faisal bhai.
Yes.
Do we need to save the password with us, or like does it like disappear once we use it? How does it work?
Okay, I'll show you that. The password will be there. So I click close here. Password will be there as long as this machine is available in my console. Soon as I terminate the machine, password is gone. Terminate means that I cannot take the machine back. I have to recreate. Let's say if I shut down this machine, password will still be intact. Okay. So here, I click again and then click connect. Click on get password. Since the key is already populated, I click on decrypt password. It gives me the same password again. So I can always get access to the password. Best practice is do not copy this password to some text file or to some spreadsheet or somewhere. Okay, leave the password there. Or if you have some password holder like KeePass or what is the PAM tool called? Kumail, is a QRadar? No.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was responding to some messages.
That's okay. That's okay. There's one KeePass is one example. That is a repository where you hold the password. It's an encrypted one, so it does not get compromised. So there are several other tools where you can put your password in.
Yeah, Putty also has that. Putty's password vault also has that.
Yeah, password vault, exactly. Yes. So yeah, but try not to save to, let's say, to a text file on your machine or a lab or locally to your machine. Okay. Try not to save.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So now this Windows is launched. If I just maximize it again here, you see that, on the background, you see that it is giving me all the details, instance ID, public IP, host name, all the details around that. So I have a working Windows server right now. I can do anything on it. Okay. This is, this blue bar here. This is telling me that I am connected to a remote machine somewhere in the cloud. Okay. And how did I connect? I connected through the RDP.
Faisal, one quick question. Now, even if we've kept the port open for the world, but nobody would be able to access this box unless they have the keypad, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Two things. One is you need the IPv4 DNS name, which is this. Okay. Even if I provide you this DNS name in the chat, you will try to access it. You will not be able to get in until you know the password.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So this is my, this is the machine where, I am connected, remotely. So I'm going to just, I'm not shutting it down. I'm going to put it in the background. Now, this is for the for the Windows access. Okay. Now I am going to access our Linux machine. So I'm going to unhighlight Windows. I'm going to highlight Linux. Same thing, verification that it's T2 Micro. It is the key pair name. It has the platform is Linux Unix, and this is the DNS address. So I'm going to copy the DNS address for our Linux machine. Okay. For the Linux instance, I'm going to copy that. Okay. Now, how do I access Linux? If you remember, this is not for the Mac guys. Mac guys, launch the terminal. Okay. Windows guys, you have a tool called PuTTY. P-U-T-T-Y. It should be installed on your machine by now. PuTTY. Once you launch the PuTTY here, okay, let me just increase the appearance for you guys so that you would see some bigger response. Okay. All right. So in the PuTTY, and this is critical piece. Windows, it already populates the administrator username in RDP for you. But here for Linux, you have to type.
Faisal bhai, before you go, can you increase the zoom?
This is the default one, so I cannot change it.
No. If you hit the Windows key and the plus sign on your keyboard, this will just increase the resolution on the screen. It may help. Here you go. Much better. Oops. There you go. Now you can do the reverse by pressing the minus later on. There you go. Much better.
Okay. All right. So what we are doing here is I'm going to click on session, sorry. In the hostname or IP address field, I'm going to type one thing here. I'm going to type the username EC2-user. EC2 minus user. Okay. No space at all. And then I'm going to type @ okay. You have to remember this. EC2-user is the username through which we're going to connect. And then @ tells that, this user going on this machine, or this user at this machine. Okay. And then remember, I copied the IPv4 DNS. So I'm going to paste it here. So now what it is telling me, if I start here, username at this machine name. Okay. So it's telling me that I am going in with this user on this machine through this port. See, the port number is 22. I am going with this username onto this machine through this port. Okay. But do not hit open at this time. Okay. One more step, which is also a critical one. Here at the bottom on the left hand side under the category, at the bottom, you will see SSH. Expand on that SSH. You see the plus next to SSH, expand on that. You expand on it, you will see auth here. So click on auth. Do not expand on auth, just expand on SSH. You see auth here. So click on auth, the window change here. Here in this window, it is asking me for the private key file for authentication. I need to provide the private key file. Remember, if I just move it a little bit here, this machine was created, or instance was created with this key pair name, my ppk Linux key. Okay. So I need to pick the same here as well. So I'm going to click browse. And remember, when you created the key pair, it actually put it or download it into my downloads folder. So I'm going to browse. And I am in my downloads, I guess. Yes, I am in my downloads, and my ppk Linux key, I'm going to select that. It has selected this. Okay. It has selected this file. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll back up again, click on session, confirming that this is the user, EC2 user. This is the machine name, going with this port number, and under the SSH auth, I actually picked the private key. Okay. I know this is a very tedious task, looks very tedious task. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to pre-populate a lot of things here for you. Okay. Now, are you guys with me so far?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, Faisal.
Yeah, pretty good.
So far, so good, Faisal.
All right.
Faisal bhai, there are some questions. If you could repeat the SSH configuration again.
Okay. SSH configuration is under the category, you see the SSH, expand on the SSH. Once you expand on the SSH, you will see different options. Highlight on auth, which is for the authentication. Under the auth, private key file for authentication, you see this box at the bottom, click on browse and pick on that file which you use to create this key, this instance. So we name the key as my PPK Linux key. That's why I named the key for Linux and I named the key for Windows separately. So I picked this one here. Once I picked it up, it has picked up this one here. So under SSH, you see the auth, go in there, pick the key file name, okay? And you can confirm the key name here under the keep your name my PPK Linux key. I'm gonna scroll up, I'm gonna go into the session. Here in the session, I have the username and then the machine name and then the port confirmation. I'm gonna click open here, okay? Let me go back to my oh shoot. Kamal bhai, how do I minus that? Is it
Chatting privately here with some students who are behind. I'm sorry, if you repeat that for me, you are.
Oh, how do I come out of the Zoom?
Oh, okay. That same window key and the minus.
Okay, window and minus. Okay,
here you
perfect.
Go. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. So this entire field is pre-populated. So I'm gonna just click open here. As soon as I click open, it's gonna give me this warning for one time only. It is telling me that, you know, I'm connecting for the first time, fingerprint and all those details. So I'm gonna click yes here. As soon as I click yes, I am logged into Linux. It's showing using username EC2-user, authentication with public key. This is the key name, Amazon Linux AMI, and all these details. And this gave me the prompt. So I am logged into my Linux machine. And congratulations, guys. This is your first Linux machine that you are logged in. So now if I just put them side by side, this is my Linux and this is my Windows. So I have both of my operating system currently connected. I'm connected to my Linux and I am connected to my Windows. Okay. I'm gonna stop the activity here for now. What I'm gonna ask you is, we'll do some more work as we proceed along into the Linux and into the Windows as well. Okay. Yes, we are on the cloud. And yay, Bakar, yes, we are connected to our first Linux and first Windows instances. Now, it is connected. This is only for free tier. Do not do this in your work or in corporate environment. This is to save you from incurring any unknown charges. Once you launch it, you know, play around with it. Once you're done with this playing, make sure you go into the EC2 dashboard. If I just go in there, click services, compute and EC2. If I go in there, you see that I have 2 running instances. I'm gonna go in there, click on that. I'm showing 2 instances here. So I'm gonna highlight them both. Highlight, you know, one here or individually or all together. Highlight them both. Click on action. Click on instance state, go down to terminate. Again, I repeat, highlight both your instances, click action, click instance state, terminate. Make sure you terminate. It's going to give you a warning. Yes, yes, I want to terminate. Click yes here. Okay. Soon as you hit the terminate, is going into the shutting down state. Will take it couple of time, and then you will see the red terminate state. Just keep refreshing it here, and you're gonna see shutting, terminate. Once it is in terminate state, you will not be charged for anything. So
why are we terminating it? I'm just curious.
Why are we terminating? We're terminating it to avoid any charges that we're gonna incur if we just leave it open.
But can't we just stop it? Because you have 750 hours, right? So can't we just stop it and then start it? Are you charged while it's in the stop state?
750 hours for the instance, but 5 gig for the storage. So why leave the storage intact? Because the OS is installed on this storage. So why leave the storage intact, which you are not using?
So Faisal, once I terminate the instance, all the resource groups and the storage will automatically be deleted?
Okay, so resource group, this is this Satya you're asking? Yeah. Resource groups, just hold on to it for now. Okay. It's a bit advanced for this group for now.
Okay.
Yeah. The best practice, not the best practice, the good approach is once you're done with your work, terminate. Unless you have tons and tons of customization you don't want it to mess or you don't want it to lose, put it in the shutdown state then. Otherwise, if it's just the base OS that you have built, terminate that. Now, not the homework for you guys, but from now until tomorrow's class, whenever you get time, launch instance, log into it, launch instance, log into it, terminate, launch instance, log into it, terminate. I want you guys to be as comfortable as if somebody wakes you up in your sleep and you tell them, hey, you know what, this is a 7-step process. Step number 5 is this. Do not skip step number 7, or do not skip this, or, so practice as much as you can. Use it as soon as, whenever you get time, just, launch the instance, play with it, terminate. And I'll be showing you more, options, how to play, how to create a web server, how to enable several services and security groups and all that. So I'm going to stop the task here, our hands-on activity. I'm going to stick around for a couple more minutes for any questions or comments you guys have.
First of all, one question. I was wondering if you go way back, like when we were creating keys, so PEM is for window keys and PPK, I guess that's for Linux.
Yes.
Strictly, right?
For now, yes. Remember it this way. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Now, one more thing. Actually, one last thing I forgot about that. Whatever we did today, I have put it on my YouTube channel. AWS Key Pairs. That's one video. AWS launch Windows instance, one video. Create security group, another video. So individual videos for each specific task. So you don't have to wait for the next class tomorrow. Let's say you skip one step or you forgot what was the step I performed. Go click on it, run that. These are like, between 5 to 10 minutes videos. Okay. This is my channel. Recently built that. Subscribe to it. Forward, pass on the word, P4 Pakao ko subscribe kare. I'm just kidding. So this is my channel.
Nice pitch. Faisal bhai, pass on the cut here.
I'm going to be putting in
It's free, so there's no cut.
More and more videos onto it. Let me just quickly show you.
Faisal bhai, if you could also copy this channel URL in the chat so people can start utilizing it right away.
Yeah, let me just go do this. It's a good point, Komal bhai.
This is today's work, right? Because I missed it, of course, the first half.
Okay.
So I'll just go look at the videos and then go, because I was able to create the instance, but I guess I didn't do the key, so I could not connect the putty or the otherwise. So I'll go do the videos and join in. Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, channel information is there, and then videos are there. So spread the word, or if you and I need some feedback from you guys as well. You watch the videos, you find something wrong, or you need some additional information there which I'm missing, or going too fast, going too slow, whatnot, just provide me the feedback, please.
Faisal, how soon we can get the videos for MacBook Pro?
I am currently working on it. I know I had some previous videos which I created for Mac. Let me find that out, because the problem is those videos were for previous version of AWS. I'll see if that is applicable here again. We'll pass it on to you. And I'm also working, as soon as I get the MacBook, I'll just get the video created real fast and get that uploaded.
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Faisal bhai, I had raised this earlier as well. I'm not able to run my my Linux instance. So originally, and Abir bhai tried to help me with this too. When I connect to it, I download the file, press get password, and it's not allowing me to run that. And it is a .pem file. I'm sorry, the Windows instance that I'm trying to run is the PEM file, and I'm not able to open
Are you running it on Mac or on Windows?
No, Windows.
Windows, okay. Yeah. Raza, can you come in like 10-15 minutes early tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
fine. Come in early, because I want you to share the screen. But before that, just go to the channel and look for key pairs, see what you're missing.
Okay.
Look for this instance video, see if you're following the entire process end to end. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Faisal.
If you get that resolved, drop me an email. Otherwise, I'll be online early tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Alrighty. Sounds good. Thank you much. Anyone else? Any other question?
Professor, how can I delete security groups?
No, do not delete the security group. Let me show you. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Let me just show you that. You don't need to delete the security group. It's just the instance that need to be deleted. Security group deletion is, if I scroll down here, security group, okay? I am in the security groups. You see that one is default and another one is the one which we created. So I'm gonna just click on that, all right, on the checkbox. Here in the actions, drop down to the end, you see the delete security group.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to delete whatever we created today, the security group and also the key pairs which we created. So just let's keep them for the rest of the class. Okay, we're gonna be playing a lot in the security groups, adding, removing, deleting, blocking the access, enabling the access, and verifying it. Okay.
Are we terminating right at the end of the day?
Yes, I already did. Yes, please terminate the instance. Once you're done playing, you don't have to terminate terminate right away, but soon as you're done playing with it, just terminate that. Okay. And this third slide, today's deck, although there's not much here, I'm gonna just upload it to our, to the OneDrive, and I'll drop you guys an email soon as I upload today's session's video, and we'll send you the link of all the videos along with these, in the email, so that you have it bookmarked. All right. Okay. Any
Okay,
other
thank you.
question before we close the call?
Faisal bhai, there is a AWS event tomorrow
Okay.
on the data analytics. I will share the link on the chat. If anybody is interested, they can attend. I think it's just a free event.
That would be great. Yes. Yeah.
But
Share it in the
only-
chat as well. Plus, I'll put it in the email as well, Kamal bhai.
Yeah, brother Ali Raza shared this on here. So I'm just sharing it with everyone.
That would be great.
I did share it already on a couple of groups. First of all, for me, because since I'm going to be working late, I'll just join in whenever I can and just follow Retro on your YouTube for the daily lessons or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah, I actually enroll. Normally, I go to their site and then bulk enroll on those items. Let me just show you. I may have some in my calendar which I could show you guys. AWS virtual. I mean, there's tons and tons of AWS virtual events on a lot of different technologies, from the basics to ML or AI or up to the level. So I'll see if I could find out, see all of these. Whenever I, at times, I enroll to them. I got pulled into my work related stuff. I do not join them. So what happens, they sent you an email about the recording. Yeah. So Savika, I'm going to be, and it's a good point. Thank you, Kumal bhai. So I'm going to be sending it. I'm going to pull that, from my bookmarks and, send you guys that email. In the email, and then, you just go and register. You don't need, you have to, fill in some fake information, Use your Gmail address, use your Outlook address, or use your Hotmail address. But, for the rest of the information, how big is your company? What is your title and all that? You don't have to provide your existing company. Just,
Yeah, Acme.
Information there. Yes. Yeah. They don't come and hunt you down. But I made a mistake. One of the security one, I provided my cell phone number, and boy, their sales guy was like after me. So
also, if there are Chicago meetups happen, they happen at my company as well for AWS folks. So if you guys are interested in joining those, you can.
Anything with the practice links, like, just like what you're doing, because I think it's more practice. I tried the theory part too, and I'm still here for the last 6 months. So I think practice is the one I think is a little bit more hands-on is the approach, I guess.
Yes. Ashfaq bhai, your practice started from today. Whatever I did today, start off with this practice. Okay. Although these are the baby steps, but at times, people get confused. Hey, where did I go to launch this, or where did I go and do that step? So start, practicing, all these steps, and you have those videos. It's not just only for now. So videos what I am publishing, it is for you guys, right? Down the road, you find out, hey, you know what? How did we do the VPC part? So you can always refer to that video. Just go through it, practice it on a free tier, and then go work it on your on your project or on your assignment.
Yeah.
So that's what I plan to do.
Yeah. First of all, another suggestion: when you save these videos, maybe you want to save it by the topic that you're dealing with within that video. So
that's what I did. Let me show you.
Okay. I didn't.
It does say that.
Okay. Very good. I'm sorry.
See, here it is. Do you see that? Let me just expand on that. So it's not just only need your help.
Okay.
Refresh.
I did it last week.
Yeah.
Okay. I tell them all to subscribe.
Yeah, I think you'll get a lot more subscribers if you give me your cell number also. So.
Yeah, the callers, live callers.
Yes. All right, perfect. Thank you much, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you,
Jazakallah, brothers.
Thank you much.
Thank you.